Ain't no way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. Hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. I'ma rep my city and salute my town. Said ain't no way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. I'ma hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. And I'm ready for whatever, and I still stand proud. Ain't no way. Who you think you kidding, dude? Never thought that I would do.
What up, though? It is your boy Mike D, host of Wrestling from the 313. And as always, this episode is brought to you by WSN, the Wrestling Society Network. Make sure you download the app on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick. Got a lot of cool wrestling content on the app. Everything from shows from indie promotions, cartoons, wrestling movies. They even made a wrestling promotion out of the 2K video game, so they got a lot of cool stuff on there. Make sure you check them out on that app, and also go to the wrestlingsociety.com. Go to their website and check out all the cool content there. A lot of podcasts on that website. Wrestling from the 313 is definitely one of them. So if you're not on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or any of those sites, go to the Wrestling Society Network, go to their website, and check out Wrestling from the 313 there. My guest today is from Nashville, Tennessee. He is the CEO, the head of Snaps and Straps. It is a company that make custom belts, custom championship belts. Brandon, welcome to Wrestling from the 313. How you doing?
Thank you, man. Appreciate the introduction. Thanks for having me on. I know we tried to get this before. I had a little sickness going on there, but now everything's good, and I had some free time to do this. Glad to be on. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Glad you're feeling better too.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, dude. Appreciate it.
No problem. So, real quick, before we start talking about the belts, like, when did your fandom for pro wrestling start? When did you become a fan, and like, who were your favorites?
Oof. Yeah, so now I'm a little bit older now, so this will date back to the 90s. My first match I saw was Rey Mysterio versus Dean Malenko, and that was the first debut for the Cruiserweight Championship on Monday Night Nitro in Florida. And Rey Mysterio came out with the pink the pink mask and the tire, and Dean Malenko just retained the WCW Cruiserweight Championship from a tournament that was held in Japan the night before. He brought that back to WCW and brought that back to the States. Fell in love with that belt and fell in love with Rey Mysterio all in one night, man. And then it just was a snowball effect of watching it every Monday, and then Monday Night Wars, and it was a great time to be alive, especially living in that moment.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think around that time, I know I was in high school. I was probably like a junior. No, I was between a sophomore and a junior around that time. But yeah, that cruiserweight division was like, that was a golden era of cruiserweight wrestling. Like, I know we always talk about like Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. We talk about Psychosis, but like, I don't think Dean Malenko was talked about enough. Like, that man, when they called him, I literally thought he knew 1,000 holes. That's just how good he was. And like, just the stars that they had, like Chris Jericho was a cruiserweight, Eddie Guerrero. I think for a minute, Chris Benoit was probably a cruiserweight. But that whole cruiserweight roster was just classic. And I know, like, after WCW had got bought by WWE, and then they tried to bring back the cruiserweight division, it did good in NXT, but then when they tried to bring it to the main roster, they should have kept it where it was in NXT. I think it possibly could have lasted a little longer, but WCW will always be the great era of cruiserweight wrestling.
Yeah, definitely the cruiserweight division was something that I cherished a lot as a kid growing up. It was one of my favorite divisions out of all of wrestling. And the way WCW showcased the cruiserweight division, they had at least 3-4 matches a night
Yeah,
to showcase them, bringing wrestlers from Mexico all the time. You know, Ciclope, Super Cologne. You had these wrestlers come in, and it was so cool seeing the mask. You
yeah,
know, and I'm a big mask collector, and that was a highlight also. Um, growing up is seeing all those different, all the different attires that came to the ring, and it was exciting to see. And and then another wrestler that was showcased a lot, Billy Kidman. He's an executive
yeah,
for WWE now. He's in the War Room. So
yeah,
he definitely elevated the cruiserweight of it. I mean, there's so many of them that you could go on and on. And what was authentic with the cruiserweight division before the Attitude Era, you had the light heavyweight championship with WWF and Takamichi
yeah,
Kubu. He was the second light heavyweight. Brian Pillman, I believe, was the first Taka after that, and he elevated the light heavyweight division, and that belt was beautiful in itself too, with the red strap, the gray backing, the gold plates. It fit really well. And then when it
yeah,
brought it back with the Attitude Era, and then they used it with the WCW versus WWF storyline when X Pac and who was I believe it was Billy Kidman and X Pac. Um, and when X Pac walked out with the cruiserweight belt and the light heavyweight belt both around his waist, man,
yeah,
that was like the Infinity War. That was like Endgame. That was the highlight to finish out the cruiserweight division, and when they unified them, and then the purple cruiserweight championship was something that very put a bad taste, I think, in a lot of people's mouth with the with the look of it, the purple strap. I mean, it looked
yeah,
good. I think the NXT Cruiserweight Championship was a lot better looking than the WWE Cruiserweight Championship.
yeah,
I think they did a better job um, with that. But I mean, you can't take away the nostalgia of the WCW Cruiserweight Championship belt. That's just holds its own plateau there.
oh yeah, definitely. And another cruiserweight that just popped up in my head, Ultimo Dragon. And when he
Another
used
really
to,
good cruiserweight. Yeah.
yeah, and then he had all the different belts from Japan that he won. That what he had like 8 belts on all together when he used to come to the ring.
I think it was 12. It was 12
Yeah,
or 13. He had that night
yeah,
when he walked out with the cruiserweight belt, which I mean, just that photo is iconic itself. Just all his belts dripping off of him, and walking to the ring. It was just with Sonny Ono. It was great. It was a great time to be alive watching wrestling.
definitely, definitely. So let's fast forward to not necessarily now, but just a little bit before now, just the inspiration for starting stars snaps and straps. Um, what inspired you to start it, and how did you first get into the championship belt business?
Well, it was pretty funny how it all transpired. We, uh, I say we, but myself, when Moose was on a live, when it was one day during the week, during COVID, they were about to have Slammiversary with fans at Skyway Studios for the first time for their pay-per-view,
Mm-hmm.
and Moose was in a live with some collector that was selling off his merch, and I had went into the comments and I had said, "Hey Moose, how much for your custom TNA championship that he had walked in there? He had that white strap one." And he said, I wasn't really thinking about selling it, but DM me and we'll talk. And so the guy that was on the live with him butted in. He said, "Oh no, wait, hold on. If you're gonna do anything, it has to go through me because you're on my live." And then Moose had DM me and he said, "I don't know that guy. Like, I have no idea what he's talking about. So, we talked, and something had came up with the original owner of that belt, and fortunately the deal fell through, and there was, he had felt bad, so he hooked me up with tickets to Slammiversary.
Okay.
And being a belt collector, I wanted to have all the belts that Impact had, and at that time it was Impact, and I had acquired all of them, and two of the belts I acquired from my now business partner Kane, which, yes, his real name is Kane, and he was actually named Kane before the wrestler Kane was named. So he can vouch for that. His family can vouch for that. That, yes, Kane is his real biological name, and yes, he had that before the wrestler. So just clarify that. And he had done the tag team championship and I believe the X division for me real quick before I went. So I showed up to Slammiversary with all the belts. I had actually had the Wildcat TNA championship. I had acquired too before, because like I said, I'm a very passionate guy when it comes to belts, and if I need something at a timely, establishment for a show, I'm gonna get it. So
That's what's
got
up.
all the belts, went to the show. I had strapped them all on the guardrail, and I believe I'm the first one to ever do that also.
Okay.
And so when Scott D'Amore was walking down to the floor, he had stopped, gave me a look, and then he sat down where Ingrid, the floor manager, sits for the show. And he gets on his mic and he's like, can I cuss on here? Is this one?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So Scott gets on his mic and he's like, why in the fuck are all of our belts on the guardrail right now? And Ingrid goes and says to Scott, those aren't our belts, those are his. And so he gets up and he walks to me and he gives me a look, grabs one of the belts like off the rail, kind of holds it, looks at it. He's like, and then walks away. And I'm like, what just happened? And they're like, do you know who that is? And I'm like, nope. And they're like, that's Scott D'Amore. He's the owner of Impact. I'm like, oh my God, he just touched my belt. I'm gonna go to jail. Like, someone's gonna come and confiscate him, put me in handcuffs. I'm going to jail. And now Josh comes out, the vice president at that time.
Okay.
Comes down, says, hey, would you mind coming in the back? Could you bring your belts with you? And I said, yeah. Am I in trouble? And they're like, no. What, should you be in trouble? I'm like, no. I just want to. And so grab all the belts, go to the back, and before I can even get there, they stopped because the show's about to start. And they said, hey, come back tomorrow, bring the belts. And so I was like, all right, cool. So I sit down, watch the show, great show. And then mid-show, floor manager says, hey, make sure you come tomorrow, bring the belts. I said, all right, cool. So the next day happens, I'm waiting in line. Then I go into the side door where the wrestlers and Scott and Josh and everybody's at. And I lay all the belts down, and they're all looking at them, picking them up, and they're like, how did you get them to look so, authentic to the real ones? And I said, well, I just found the right people, found the right leather person, and, this is the outcome of it. And they were like, wow, these look really good. Would you be interested in having a meeting in Texas for the next pay-per-view? And that was I believe that was Hard to Kill in Texas. And I was like, yeah, sure. No problem. And they caught me tickets, and then all of a sudden, Moose tapped me on the shoulder. He said, hey, I'm about to win the TNA championship. I want a custom belt for it. Can you do it? I said, sure. And he's like, all right, cool. Do you have an Instagram? I'm like, nope. And he's like, all right, well, make one and message me. I was like, all right, cool. And then so I'm gathering the belts up again. I get another tap on the shoulder. It's Trey Miguel. And he's like, "What's up, bro?" I was like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "Dude, that's a beautiful X Division belt. Hey, I'm about to turn heel and win the X Division belt. Could you maybe make me a custom belt?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And so by that time, I'm just like, "Yeah, sure." Like, I just got 2 people asking me for belts. And then I grab all the belts. I'm just like, I'm sweating, I'm shaking, I'm just so excited. I message Kane. I'm like, "Hey, I just think something just really crazy happened. I'll message you after the show." And then I go and sit down, and then all of a sudden Ace Austin comes to the ring, gets in the ring, sitting on the top turnbuckle, looks at me, looks at the X Division belt, hops out of the ring, says, "Hey, can I get one of those?" And I was like, "Sure." And he's like, "You got an Instagram?" I'm like, "I'm in the process of making one right now." He's like, "All right, cool. Yeah, follow me and I'll get at you." I was like, "Cool, man." He's like, "Dude, beautiful belt." I was like, "Thanks." And that night, my first 3 followers were Moose, Trey Miguel, and Ace Austin. So
Hey, that's dope.
that's pretty cool. Versus your first hour of Instagram, you got the 3 big stars for Impact, following you. So I start shopping around prices for plates. I start shopping around prices for leather. Um, I hit up my friend Kane at the time, and I'm like, "Hey, how much for this?" He said, "Da da da." It's like, "Hey, they really liked your leather." He's like, "Who liked my leather?" I was like, "Impact." He's like, "Shut up." I'm like, "Yeah, like Moose, Ace, Trey, they all want a belt." He's like, "Shut up." Like he didn't believe me as I kept trying to, explain more and more and get into detail about it.
Yeah.
And so just like I said, just my first 3 clients were Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, and then Moose. So that was another pretty cool thing, and that established the snowball effect of making custom belts for wrestlers, and then the promotions got wind. They saw the belts because locker rooms talk, and yeah, man, it just turned into now. We've been on every major wrestling promotion, and we're currently on a lot of independent promotions, so it's pretty cool.
That's what's up. So I know you said that Trey Miguel, Moose, and Ace Austin were your first 3 clients. Out of those 3, like, do you remember the first belt you made, and what was that experience like?
It was pretty scary and frustrating because I didn't know what I was doing, and I wanted to trust the right people because there was a lot of scamming going on with plate makers and not producing good plates. So you know to just did my research, and then I hit up, like I said, my business partner Kane. I said, "Hey, there's a great business opportunity here. Would you be interested in maybe teaming up and making some belts?" And he was down as could be. So we did our contract, and then I did a contract with a plate maker at that time, and we just kept pumping out belts. And our first one we assembled was Ace Austin's X Division, which he had won both at that time. So we did a half red, half blue belt, and uh, Ethan Page was his inspiration on that. He had went to Ace and said, "Hey, how about you do a half and half since you've won both?" Because that's what him and his Josh Alexander, his tag team partner at the time, it was Team Canada. They had won the Impact Tag Team Championships, and they did half and half color. So that was so he had gotten that inspiration from that. And then it turned into we had an idea of stamping. I don't believe anybody had done this either. Stamping their logo in the strap.
Yeah, I like that. That's dope.
That was a general idea that we had, that we wanted to do things that other people weren't doing.
Yeah.
and we thought that would be pretty cool, and it turned out awesome because pretty much every wrestler that wins a belt, they want their logo in the strap. So you'll a lot of see at a lot of shows if you go to, especially that was currently on TV, the X Division TNA X Division Championship for Moose. He had a Moose logo that he always wanted on his strap. So when you wore it to the ring, you would see it pretty clear. It would be either in the snap box, or we would have it just off of the snap box, just depending if there was a property plate or not. So yeah, that was pretty iconic for us. And then we don't paint straps. This was a big turmoil we had with the finger keyboard warriors. We don't paint due to the crack and peeling of straps. You'll see that a lot, especially with like white straps. You'll see pretty much the first month of the belt, all the paint's gone. Especially with the creases. I'm not bad mouthing it. That's just not our preference. We want our belts to last years. We're not trying to replace them every 6 months. Some of them we like to, just so we like to resell them and keep them fresh. If there's a good profit in that, and the fans want reused belts. So, we do it at a way cheaper cost than some of our competitors, which, a lot of these aren't the price points that they say they are. So we're real as can be. We're not in it for the money. We're just in it for having wrestling fans getting that wholesome of a real championship belt. And we like to give back to the community. So we love donating also. We'll donate belts as much as we can. But we definitely like getting our reused belts back and giving them back to the fans. So, I mean, it's cool when you can go to a wrestling show and not have a WWE belt at a, independent show, or have a, I have no, like I said, nothing against that, but I know fans would want that promotion belt with that promotion in the show. So, it brings a different aura to that promotion too, when you see all your belts in the crowd instead of competitors or big name companies. It's just, once you see it, you'll understand, because like I said, we're heavily involved in the independent scene. That's where we came up at, and we take pride in independent wrestling and the belts. So we love giving back, like I said, and no other way than having a real belt.
Definitely. Yeah, and yeah, I agree with that. Like, I never been, because I've been to a few independent shows, and I've never wanted to take my like WWE belt, because I had the NWO championship, the big gold belt, and I've never been tempted to take it to an independent show. It just seemed like it's not for that scene. And if you do have a belt, at least, if it's a way, get it from that promotion that's having the show, or even if it's just something outside of WWE. You know what I'm saying? I just think when it'd be a time and a place, I guess, that if that's how you want to say it.
Yeah, no, you're right, and it's hard right now for some people to get that. You get your what we're called old heads, so we get that. It just means more, and having, and then it has just such a beautiful effect too when you go to a smaller independent show, and what you see in a crowd is your belts. There's no other feeling I think you can have than having that, because it's just like any other wrestling show.
Yeah. That's what's up. So how many offhand, how many promotions do you think you've made belts for?
Man, it'd be a minute here. Uh, let's just say it's probably close to 20 around there.
Whoa.
A lot, like I said, a lot of them we don't really promote either. Uh, so it's, you know, a lot of them also we do we do price points also for the smaller shows. So if you know they we'll put it on some standard stuff, you know, just to match the, because like I said, we're not in it for the money. So you know, any way I can help a promotion, I will do the best I can with because we do all of our stuff here. So it's hard, it's hard to, you know, we have a CNC machine, which is one of the you know, top machines to use, other than if you have $100,000, you know, acid machine, or you know, um, uh, 3D printer. We've been experiencing doing some stuff with that. So it's just, it's rough right now with tariffs, and we you can't, it's hard to have a set price point. So what I do is I do what the man himself, you know, Wildcat does. You know, what's your budget and what do you need it by? You know, when do you need it by? Those are the two things you start off with, because everyone can't afford the $1,500, $2,500, you know, belt that, you know, we can produce. Yeah. So you want to be able to match, you know, what they can afford and what looks good. So like I said, we do the best we can to do that for fans, for promotions, but we don't do bootlegs. We don't make WWE belts. We don't do that on the side. We're not that, we're not that company. So we strictly do what belts that we've been approved to do by the major companies, and then we also do the independent and custom belts is what we're known for. So it just depends, you know. And like I said, with the way the world is right now and the way prices just fluctuate, I like to keep it open to where, you know, hey, if I can do a discount, I'm going to do a discount for them, you know. And sometimes it benefits everybody, and sometimes it gets taken advantage of. So you learn as you go, and you know, we've been doing this for almost 5 years now. So you know, we're still young. We're still a young company. We're still in the growing pains of trying to figure out, you know, what's what, and you know, eventually everything will come to light. And we're very honored for all the opportunities that have been presented to us and what's to come also. So yeah, be on the lookout.
That's what's up. So like I know you started your company, and just like with just designing and stuff, like is there anybody, did you have like a mentor or somebody that you like looked up on like YouTube or read about to get better creating belts?
So when I first started, I did all the designing. I'd sit at the table here for 8 hours a day just drawing, and it was very frustrating. It was really hard. So I took a lot of aspects from other belts and you know, put them into our perspective. And then it got to the point where we were getting so many orders, I couldn't do it anymore. So I got with uh, our designer now, which is Parker. He is out in France, where he is located. And so as of, I believe, last year, he does all of our designs. He's done all the custom work for us.
Cool.
So he has definitely saved us and has definitely helped us a lot. We also work with Hellfire, the one that did all the TNA championships. So it's really good to have those two guys to work with, and amazing what they can do in such a short time. And yeah, kudos to them. Shout out to them. But yeah, this is it's crazy, man. You would I would sit here and I would have gobs of paper just all over the place, just trying to figure out, like, because you don't want to copy people, you don't want to do the same thing. So it was really hard to understand that and to say it's okay to get help, and
Yeah.
I found the best people, and like I said, man, we've been pumping out some stuff, so I'm really happy.
That's what's up. So, what's the process of designing and creating the custom championship belt from start to finish?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into it. You you try to accommodate the promotion as much as possible, because I'd say 4 years ago, you would see more of these promotions, smaller independent promotions, have the same looking title as the bigger promotions, but with just different lettering and different color, and it'd still be the same outline, and it's tacky as shit. When you see a promotion with like the AEW International belt, that's a belt you see a lot in the indie scenes, and it's you I get it. A lot of these promoters have favorite belts, and it's their company, but you will draw. I'm guarantee this. You will draw a bigger crowd if you have your own belt and you showcase a different belt, rather than having the international title as your IWF middle card championship.
Yeah,
It, get creative, and a lot of these fans will come to wrestling shows because of the belts.
gotcha.
Uh, I've witnessed that. I've heard that. We're also one of the few that go to wrestling shows. You won't see too many company belt making companies, their owners going sitting front row at any major show. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm friends with a lot of these wrestlers, so I love rooting for them. And half of them want me to record them. That a lot. They're like, "Yo, make sure you get me," because they know I'm going to the show. So make sure you get my right side. Make sure you show them when I do that. And I love it. Because then they reshare it, and I feel like I help them. Just tweak their skills just a little bit more, seeing a replay. And the camera, you see different things from all camera angles. So I'm glad I can help in that way, and I get to experience with my daughter also, which is becoming a wrestling fan, getting to sit front row and getting to see all of her favorite wrestlers and people she's rooting for, people she doesn't like, because my she is a demon, and she will mean mug anybody. She mean mugged J Rod, which is an independent wrestler. She's very big in OVW and Nashville area, and she's obviously a heel. And the first encounter my daughter had with her, J Rod's looking at her, not smiling, just staring at her, and my daughter starts giving the squinted eyebrows, and the then the head comes up, and then the squinty eyes, and like, then if you stare at her for more than a few seconds, then she'll do the like, like what do you want? And so when she shrugged her hands up in the air, and she's like, what's up? J-Rod proceeded to walk over to her, and she says, I don't like you. And so my daughter returns with a barking sound. She starts, arr, 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 starts barking at her. And I said, hey, that's the dog in her, man. Like, I can't help you with that. And so ever since then, every time she sees her, it's just a straight stare down at pretty much who can blink first, and then it's just they go their separate ways. But yeah, when she comes to the ring, you know, they eyeball each other, they lock eyes, and that's about it.
Hey, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, but it's fun, man. It's definitely fun, and you know, finally, you know, she wants to go. She loves Jey Uso. Jey Uso is one of her favorites, but she likes a lot of the independent wrestlers, which is pretty cool because then I can be like, "Yo, hey, you know, I'm gonna call you real quick." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's dope right there. So,
Appreciate-
what what makes your belt stand out in terms of quality and craftsmanship compared to others on the market?
Oh, the leather, the leather. No one can do respectfully. No one can do what Kane does. Uh, he's above all else. He hand crafts everything. Everything's done by hand. We don't use any machines. We don't use any press plates. We don't use any sewing machines. He's down in the office there, just pounding away for hours, stamping, tooling, cutting, stitching. He does it all, man, and I don't know anybody that can do multiple belts in just a few days. He did the AEW Trios Championships for the House of Black. He did 3 belts in 6 days.
Wow, that's dope. So, like, what's the average time that that it takes to create a belt? Like, how many days?
Depends on the quality you want. If you want the higher standard, it takes about a month ish. If you want the, you know, the just the standard, it could take 3 weeks to a month. It just depends if, you know, we have a system, you know, and say I'm doing a donating belt for somebody. Well, if I have a paying order coming in, that goes ahead of the donation. So that's how we've always been. But you pay for what you get for. And if you can't afford it, we donate it. There's going to be a timely manner. So we try to we try to be the quickest we possibly can, but we don't want to. You don't want to rush things because then you cut corners, and we don't want to be known for cutting corners. So, you know, we feel like a month, and I've heard people wait 6 months, 8 months, 3 months. Like we've missed a few deadlines in our years, but it's never been to the point where it jeopardized, you know, something crucial. So, you know, you always want to make sure that you have enough time and making sure the product comes in, because there could be times where you order something and it's on back order.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can't control that, or shipping issue. You know, the floods in North Carolina that happened. You know, that affected our stuff going out. Anything, you know, that can be detrimental to the shipping will, you know, it will affect the time. So, you know, like I said, you always try to advise whoever's getting the belt to do it a few months out, just so that way the design gets done. So in case there's any last minute tweaks you want to do or things you want to change, so you know, you try to be business timely as possible, so that, you know, you can accommodate the promotion or whoever is getting that belt.
Definitely. And that's funny that you say that. You know, like you said, deliveries can be late because of the weather and stuff like that. I can remember COVID. I can remember ordering something during COVID, and it took 2 months until I got it. Yeah, like 2.5 months. So yeah, like
Happens.
stuff can happen. You know what I'm saying? Storms, natural disasters, pandemics. You know what I'm saying? Everything was shut down around that time. So yeah, and that's cool. Like, always thought that it took maybe like months and months to create a belt, but if you said your guys can create one in 6 days, like that's good. Well, you said 3 belts in 6 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good right there.
Yeah, he regretted it though because he stayed up literally for 72 hours. He maybe slept a couple hours here and there, but it was 72 hour day for him.
Man, hey, but you know what? Y'all hard work is paying off. You know what I'm saying? Y'all definitely, doing a lot of work for a lot of promotions. So, and a lot of people like what y'all do. So, hey, keep going and stay in that grind.
Appreciate it.
No problem. So, do you find that there's a big difference in designing belts for wrestling promotions versus belts for fans?
This was another thing we wanted to establish too when we started the company. We'll make our belts that we were approved for by the bigger companies, but you'll see a lot of customers want the WWF belts, the WWE belts, the AEW belts. When I just say save your money and buy it on shop, because then you don't have a problem of somebody making fun of you saying you have a bootleg when you have the real authentic thing with the stitch in the back. So people are so impatient nowadays on waiting that it jeopardizes the longevity of what the whole point is of having a belt, sustaining it, and then if you don't like it anymore, reselling it. Very, very hardly you'll have somebody hold on to a belt for a long period of time unless it's a collector belt or a rare belt or a ring used belt. So you gotta you gotta know what you're doing, but also be mindful of just what's popular, what the market's like. I can tell you right now, the market has been very dry for the last 2 years, and a lot of it's trust issues and quality issues. I think everybody wants to say they're the best belt uh, uh, group on Facebook. They have the best, buy sell trade, but it's pretty much all high school politics. Some people won't let. that's being respectful, PG as possible. So you just take everything with a grain of salt. It's very it's different from I'd say 6-7 years ago when all there was fixing belts, when you're fighting for the best fixing line to have the belt, and then the market changed. I say 3 years ago when it, wanting to promote somebody to upscale something, and that's the thing too. It's oh man, I could go on and on. So I'm trying to edit myself. So there was a professor, Russian professor, that did a study that if you say I tell you every day that Stone Cold was the worst wrestler in WWF, you didn't believe me the first day, you didn't believe me the second day, you didn't believe me the third day, you didn't believe me the fourth day. You started questioning it though the fifth day. You started thinking about it though the sixth day. The seventh day, you started agreeing with me. The eighth day, now you're with me. The 10th day, now you're going against everybody else because you were just brainwashed by that person implementing that into your mind for the last 10 days that Stone Cold was the worst wrestler. So when we hypnotize our mind with the same answer over and over, the same question over and over, you're going to start believing that. And then you're going to start agreeing with that. And with social media, all it takes is one person to throw a negative comment and then watch it just trickle. Just start circling and circling, becomes a fire, becomes a wildfire. And then it just starts mass hysteria of the negative outcome instead of looking at the positive.
Right.
And that's our biggest problem, I think, being keyboard warriors and having that power, social media, being able to sit behind something and say those things. But then when you see that person or you see that object in public, and then the whole demeanor changes, the whole
right. Right.
And that's been one of our biggest issues with the naysayers and the negativity. And you got to remember, there was no wrestling 5 years ago. There was you watching a bunch of people, sitting on TVs watching wrestling, or there was no promotions at all.
Yeah.
So, just be mindful that we have what we have now and remember what we didn't have, and just value the all around in wrestling and appreciate it. Because it can be gone like that, and it's time, and everything's just a ticking time. And you gotta stop with the negative ish and just be thankful that you're alive watching wrestling and enjoying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry to get to all sentimental there, but
oh no, man.
yeah,
Hey, we need to hear that sometimes. There's so much going on in the world today. Sometimes we need to just tell people in a nice way to just shut up and enjoy pro wrestling. That's
grass, man. Go outside, touch grass, hug a tree. Breathe in air. There's a lot more than sitting behind. There's a lot of these fans too that criticize the wrestlers or say things to the wrestlers that 9 times out of 10 they wouldn't say to their face.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it's hurt wrestling, but it's also saved wrestling. So you can't really have point fingers at who's right and who's wrong. You just everybody just has to have a good respectful mind of what we had and what we have to what we didn't have a few years ago. So
oh yeah, definitely. Well said. So is there one belt that you've made that you're especially proud of, and does it have a special story behind it?
I can tell you more negative ones than positive. Nah, man. Like I said, we're so privileged and honored, and we work so hard to get to where we are. The hours and the dedication that my team has done over the years to put out what we've put out. It's hard to say which one, but I've always said the next one. And just like you would with a Super Bowl champion, multiple Super Bowl champion, what's your favorite Super Bowl? They're going to tell you the next one. They're not going to tell you the one that they have. They're going to say the next one. So, we have a lot of things coming up, and we have a lot of belts that haven't been shown yet, with a lot of big name people also. So it's just a time thing. We probably have I think we have 6 belts out right now that haven't debuted. 6 or 7 right now that haven't debuted. It could take months. It could take a year. It could take years. We just had a belt debut 2 years ago that we made 2 years ago. Just debuted between QT Marshall and Matt Cordona. So you just gotta learn to be patient, and it's also hard on the other flip side of this, being a wrestling fan and knowing things 6 months in advance before it even happens, and having to sit there and watch content creators talk about like the what ifs, and it's just like nails on a chalkboard when you can just literally tell them what's going on, but you can't. So you just got to keep scrolling. So,
Yeah.
but it's fun. I like starting, those little rumors like, oh, Fred Durst is gonna show up. They're like, yeah, right. And then all of a sudden you see Fred Durst like in the crowd. They're like, no way.
That's crazy. So when you said that a belt that you made 2 years ago recently just released, is that something that the promotion is doing to kind of build that hype up for a new championship, or how does that come about?
Well, with this certain particular issue, they changed their logo mid change or mid making of the belt,
Oh,
which was a uh, bad communication. So uh, it was put on the shelf for now because there was one that was currently being made that had the new logo on it. So it was two people buying belts for the promotion and not talking, and so that's what happened. But luckily, what saved it was one was called the Heavyweight Championship, and one was called the World Heavyweight Championship.
oh,
So
that was
now you can put both of those into the promotion, defending those because they're not the same thing. So
yeah,
there's always confusion because you can have a light heavyweight championship, you can have
that's true.
so it it was pretty cool that it finally debuted and all that, but there was some drama behind it, and which was pretty funny. But yeah, well, we'll say that for a rainy day. Uh, so yeah, man, it's hard, man. The ones that go on TV, like that the TNA belts, the Impact belts, the AEW belts, Ring of Honor, AEW, the custom belts for the wrestlers, the spray painted ones, like
Yeah,
it, it's it's everything to us that we get, that we started from nothing and build this up to where we're on national television every week. It's just it it starts not mattering what your favorite belt is. It's more of the next one, like I had said before. Like,
yeah,
what can we do to top that one? What we're always trying to challenge ourselves. We had to set new goals, so all of our goals were completed. So you always want to keep fresh and not sit on what you've done, and you'll see that a lot, and that's what hurts a lot of people that have before us or right now. They like to sit on what they've done already, and that page has already been turned. We're on to brighter days. We're on to conquering new promotions. If we done a few belts for a promotion, cool, that's awesome. That just shows the loyalty that some of these promotions have with not staying true to their word, and you'll see that a lot, and I've learned that a lot in this business. It's a pirate sea, and nobody stays true to their word. So in a sense, you can't come at it like all rainbows and gumdrops, because a lot of the wrestlers, and it's true what MJF said, your biggest fear is meeting your hero and being disappointed, and it's happened a lot. So everything is a learning experience. That's negative in your life, you learn to grow from it, and you and you put up walls, and I never thought being a company that I would put up walls. And I did. There. I don't know.
Well, okay. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Sorry about that. Had the technical difficulty real quick. So without spoiling any surprises, have you is there any well-known wrestlers or promotions that you could be working with soon?
Yes. Let's say I did a little Easter egg on my story. You just gotta watch my stories. If you're not following me, follow me. And anything we do, I'll do a little Easter egg just to show. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, then you'll see it eventually. But yeah, we have one really. We got so many projects going on right now, but one that stands out the most. It's gonna be big.
Right.
And I'll just say this championship's been around for a long time. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. And yeah, just be on the lookout.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So when it comes to belts, WWE has their whole thing going on. Just your opinion of what do you think of their belts, and like just how they belts pretty much look the same as far as like the women's championship and the men's championship. Do you think that they going the lazy route, or do you think that they just doing that's just keeping up with the time?
Without being negative on it, I think here, for instance, let's say this. Hellfire Design that did the TNA championship belts. He's probably been the biggest designer in the world off of those belts. Just by making those belts, he is showcased to be one of the best designers in the world. To have the social media world say that his belts designs are better than WWE belt designs speaks volume.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check out his Instagram and check some of those designs out.
You also got to remember a lot of these bigger companies now are turning corporate.
Yeah.
As you can see with TKO buying WWE, they have their belt making process now. When they bought Figs Inc. out of Chicago in 01, I believe 99, 01. No, 01. It changed the whole belt community world when that happened, because now the quality of what Figs Inc. did is going to change. Yeah, there's cardboard in the straps. Yeah, some of them are 2mm plates. Well, I mean, all of them are 2mm plates. But you got to remember who made them. You got to remember who bought them before. Now, if you look at any of the fig zinc belts that were made before 01. You're gonna have 99. You're gonna have a WWF stamp on the back of the belt with a WCW belt.
Yeah.
Before that, all the belts didn't have a WWF sign. WCW, WWF, they just had the fig zinc stamp.
Mm-hmm.
So now the value of all those belts before the WWF stamp have just gone up. So those are the OGs.
Yeah.
If you have one of those in mint condition, that's an OG belt. Now, if I wanted to, I could stir up social media. I could stir up the belt community world and say, I have the OG line of every WCW, WWF, ECW belt before WWF bought it and stamped it. So just like I told you, if I keep doing it every day, keep promoting it every day, guess what's going to happen? People are going to start going after, start wanting those belts. Just like those little doll things that are blowing up the world right now. Those little Labubu dolls.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere. Look how fast that trend happened off of just TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah.
So think about that in the world right now. It's a copycat world. So everybody's gonna be doing the same exact thing. So it's all about if you want to dedicate the time into promoting what you want to promote and trying to feed that into your followers, into the community, etc. So, like we just like to make everybody happy the best we can and have all of our belts on every wrestling promotion.
That's what's up. One of my we got a comment from Crander Q from Friends of the Square Circle, and he said he need a best beard belt. He said he got the best beard in podcast wrestling podcasting. So him and a couple other guys.
I don't know. Two white lines going down.
Oh, there you go. He left another comment. #1 beard in pro wrestling podcasting.
Well, I'm not a podcaster, so yeah, you can have that.
Shout out to Crander Q from Friends of the Square Circle. Make sure y'all check him out. So, real quick, so where do you see the company in the next 5 years? And I know you already said that you guys got some good stuff coming up. So 5 years, where do you see Snaps and Straps?
Having consistent contracts with all the companies. I have a goal to be on every single wrestling promotion, indie, main. So a lot of them have been doing it for 30 plus years. I've been doing it for 5. If I keep my hunger and my drive to do that, I believe I can get that done. I'm all about giving people opportunities and chances with plates. I've never been somebody that was like, oh, this is all we're going to do. This is all we're going to work with. Because in order to be on everything. You have to give a little to get a little. Um, I've, like I said, we've donated a lot to get to where we are, and you're gonna have to. Like, you don't. There's been I know you don't see any gross income in the first 5 years of a company usually, um, but we've we we've gotten better as each year has progressed. So
Good. That's real good.
so we've never had a loss in 5 years. So but we have had a loss in 5 years. Just want to make sure taxes, and yeah, we've had losses.
But you know, you guys seem like you guys are coming up. You know, like you said, you made belts with TNA. You're doing it for multiple promotions, and you know, it's just a matter of time. You know, when you know they'll be getting belts from you guys, and instead of fan do belts. You know, so
Like, we do minis, bro. We do mini belts. Like,
oh, that boy is dope.
oh yeah, I got Jack O'Reilly right here.
Oh, sweet.
Oh yeah, man. We make belt buckles. Done belt buckles for Young Gravy, Brie Carter, Country Gentleman. We're currently working on a belt buckle for the current NWA heavyweight champion,
Okay.
Salas there. So yeah, man, we don't just make belts, you know. So we wanted to experience everything. We want to, like I said, just want to take over and have fun doing it, and we enjoy doing it. And that's the thing, you have to enjoy doing this, because
Yeah.
this is a stressful job. So it's fun. So these last 5 years have been amazing. I'm blessed to have the team that I have, to have the best leather maker, to have the best designers. And we just stay hungry and stay humble. That's our motto. And like I said, we're really happy with everything, and like I said, we can just keep going up, just keep climbing that ladder.
That's what's up, definitely. Well, Brandon, I appreciate you coming on, you know, breaking down and talking about everything in the custom belt industry. It was good hearing about your journey. Congratulations and good luck with everything with you and your team and your company. Before we get out of here, do you want to let the people know where they can find you, and got any shout outs?
Yes. Instagram, you can find us at Snaps and Straps, or the real _ belt collector. You can find us on Facebook at Snaps and Straps LLC, and TikTok Snaps and Straps LLC, I believe also. Shout out to everybody that supports us and continues to buy our product, and we appreciate it, and thank you for all your hard work and everything you do. The wrestling community is great right now, and
Definitely.
I think the more we put out information on what's on current events and wrestlers and what's going on, it just helps the brand, and keep doing your thing. And like I said, thank you for having us on.
Oh, no problem. Custom like championship belts are one of my favorite things in wrestling. So I always said that I wanted to have people in the custom belt industry on the show and just kind of talk about just their journey and, you know, what it, you know, the process in making belts and stuff like that. You know, everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
So, you know, I definitely appreciate, you know, coming on and, you know, talking about the Snaps and Straps brand. And once again, good luck to you guys and wish you all the best of luck.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No problem. And anybody that was watching, just want to thank you for tuning in, watching this episode of Wrestling from the 313. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you hit the notification button, all that good stuff. Go to wrestlingfrom313.shop. Get you a Wrestling from the 313 t-shirt. It's starting to get cold now, so you got to make sure you get
Love
a hoodie.
Love it.
Got to get you a hoodie. And like I always say, support independent wrestling, support wrestling podcasters, support custom belt makers. You know what I'm saying? We all out here trying to just do our thing in the IWC. And once again, make sure you check out Snaps and Straps. Go on Instagram and follow them. Facebook, you can also follow them there. And just check them out and keep up with what they got going on, because like Brandon said, they got big things coming up, and looking forward to it.
Oh, so, yeah, we also have that content creator championship going on right now.
Yeah, real quick before we get out of here, yeah, because I saw that. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that real quick.
So I wanted to. There's so many of you lovely individuals that I wanted to showcase that by having the top content creators in a tournament to see who is the best content creator in the country, in the world. And I felt we had the best contenders for this. And then all of a sudden, I got so many creators hitting me up wanting to be in the tournament. I felt so bad because there's so many amazing people. So what we decided to do is, after the tournament, after the champion is crowned, he can, enjoy it for a little bit. But then there's going to be challengers. There's going to be opponents that are going to want that content creator championship. Yeah. So he or she is going to have to defend the content creator championship by promo, by live, by voting. I have a surprise judge right now that's going to be going over these videos. I'm waiting for, I think, 1 or 2 more videos. But if this person doesn't give me the video, they're getting forfeited. And then the next content creator that was out of the bracket that's in the pool will be brought in to the tournament to go against whoever that person was supposed to go against.
Okay.
So we had to do that the first round. So going into the second round, we had the new people that were in the championship or in the content creator tournament. So it just depends, and it's a lot of these videos and a lot of these, like, they're turning into diss tracks. They're turning into literally diss tracks, and I love it because it's showing more than sitting behind your phone and doing a video breakdown of what happened on Raw when everybody saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So, or a recap, if and I've gotten on to content creators about that, where everybody does the same exact thing over and over and over again. And I think it made waves because a lot of people started changing what they were doing, and I think it refreshed the community with doing it, but doing it in a way that's gonna electrify the person watching it.
Right.
Anyone can sit there and say, yeah, he got a table, he slammed through a table, he got hit with a chair, that person ran into the ring, caused a distraction, and the other dude won. 1, 2, 3. Person still the same champ. Cool. You know? So now
Yeah.
So now they're like getting into it. They're you know, and if I can motivate people on doing that, then my job, I did my job. Because like I said, I know things prior to them premeditated already. So
Yeah.
I try to influence or plant a seed and watch it grow. You know, that's always been a motto of mine. And you know, if you think you can do better than that current champ, hit me up. Say, yo, I want to challenge so and so for that belt. I'm like, all right, well, this is what's going to happen, and this is what I need from you. You know, so if people can abide by, you know, the rules and how this is going to go, then this is going to turn into a really fun thing, I think. And taking the belt to shows, you know, like if you got like a meet and greet, like, oh, what's that? Oh, I'm the content creator champion. Oh, really? Like, yeah. I went up against everybody. You know, anybody that you could think of that was a top content creator, I went up against or got beat to get this belt. So I think it's gonna show, and y'all deserve it too. Y'all guys spent hours and hours editing, you know, redoing and trying to get in a hold of people, doing the interviews, studying the person. Like, kudos to everybody that does this, and I have so much respect for you guys. That's why I wanted to do this. So like I said, once this tournament gets finished, everybody will message me that wants to be a challenger, and then I'll have a list, and then it's whoever stands out, you know. And a lot of these videos, man, a lot of these people that you would think are gonna win aren't gonna win. So, you know, if you think you're the best content creator, you have to show it. And this isn't just some, you know, cheap $125 belt. No, this is the real deal. You deserve it, so you're getting it. But you have to defend it. So, you know, how bad you want to hold on to that, and how bad are you going to work on to being the best content creator? So,
definitely. And you said that you got that tournament on Instagram, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Everybody's been doing their videos all over, so it's been going pretty well.
Definitely, that's what's up. So yeah, make sure you all go to any of those platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Check out the content creator tournament and just tune in to see who's going to win and leave with that content creator championship belt. So once again, Brandon, I thank you once again. Make sure everybody go to Facebook, check out the Snaps and Straps Facebook page. Check out their website too. And then, you know, and if you want a custom belt, give them a holler. You know what I'm saying? They might make something dope for you. So I am Mike D. This is Wrestling from the 313. We will be back next week for another episode. But until then, I will holler at you soon. Happy Labor Day. You know, I know it's next Monday or whatever, but yeah, enjoy your Labor Day. Enjoy your weekend. Peace. I'm out.
So you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day?
That too. Peace, y'all.